Hello and welcome to Financial Conversations with Brian. It's good to be back, guys. I have to say it's kind of difficult to make videos when you're in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and Gatlinburg. Had a bunch of good trips with the kids. Had some fun. So now I'm back home, ready to get going with some videos again. Today I just kind of want to do an unscripted video and just talk about how amazed that I am about all the different sources of income that you can have and all the ways to make money without a job. You know, every time I go on one of these trips, this one trip to Fort Lauderdale was an incentive trip that my wife had actually earned with the direct sales company that she's been selling for called Mary and Martha. And every time I go, I always meet interesting people, because when you're in a setting like that, you're around people who are like-minded, you know, who small business owners, and you get to talking about different things, different ways that people make money and things like that. And I always find at least one or two people that I really connect with, and, you know, they learn from me and I learn from them, and it's just really cool. But I just want to talk about all of the different ways, some of the things that's come across my path of ways people make money without a job, and some of the things from the past too that I'll cover here too. Like, for instance, there was a guy I used to work with many, many years ago, and he lost his job. And for some reason, this guy kind of had a chip on his shoulder, kind of hard to get along with, but he seemed to like me, and we talked a lot. And I caught up with him about 6 months after he had gotten fired, and he was telling me that he was living off of the money for giving plasma. So, you know, turned out he was making $600-700 a month just giving plasma. And that was enough to keep food on the table and some gas money and a few other things like that. He lived with a friend of his, and I think they split the rent or some sort of deal like that. But his friend was lenient with him and worked with him until he could find a job. And then I've also known people that gave plasma who, one guy in particular that I know of, he probably lives in about a $500,000 house. And he just uses that money to go play golf. So there's a wide spectrum of people that throughout the years that I've heard that gave plasma. I've never done it myself. I've thought about it because it just seems like, for the amount of time, it's a really good transaction. For instance, you know, the first trip they might give you $150 to $175, and you're only there for like maybe an hour. I mean, $150 an hour seems like a good deal to me. Not many people make that. And then, you know, there's all these little surveys, apps, and stuff like that where you can scan receipts and things like that from your shopping trips. And sometimes you just pick up, you know, anywhere from 2 to 25 cents for each receipt scanned, but over long term, this stuff adds up at the end of the month. I know my mother does this. She absolutely loves it. And I'd say probably at the end of every month, she probably makes over $100 just scanning receipts and doing surveys from the comfort of her recliner. And I like to joke with her and call it recliner money. She's retired, and it's something for her to do. So, I mean, even if you are a Social Security recipient or have a pension or whatever, it doesn't mean you stop doing anything. As a matter of fact, I think that would kind of be boring. You know, I think most people, when they retire, I'd say a good percentage, I'd say more than half, probably end up working part-time or going back to another job or volunteering somewhere. You know, they don't just do nothing. They find something to occupy their mind and their time. But I want to dive a little bit deeper into some of these other ways to make money. I mean, there really is no excuse why somebody couldn't make it today by doing these things. I mean, unless your lifestyle is just extremely expensive. If you have a moderate, low cost, lower expenses, if you can get it to where you can live less than, say, maybe with inflation now, maybe $2,000 a month, pay off your mortgage and all of these things, and car payments go bye-bye, and you can probably live fairly comfortably on $2,000 a month and get all that you need. That's only $24,000 a year. I was sitting there thinking about it the other day. I was like, the standard deduction on taxes for married couples, like $25,000, $26,000, somewhere in that range. So if you made less than that, I mean, you're not going to pay any federal tax. Seems like a pretty good deal. I know one of the ways that I've made money is trading stocks and things like that, day trading and swing trading, and you do have to pay tax on those if you cross that threshold. But I mean, there's been times where I've made $600 in just an hour of trading, and there's no way I could have done that in the past based on what I made, years ago. I think maybe for a whole day of work, maybe it was $200 something per day. So when you start looking at all these little things and they start adding up, nickel and diamond coming into your account, mystery shopping and things like that. I mean, those things all are good ways to make a little extra money. I really started to like the mystery shopping for a couple of reasons. There's one of them that I found that was called Field Agent, and I was kind of playing around with it, and it was pretty cool because from time to time there'll be one that'd come up. It'd say, like, you could go eat at, say, Popeyes or Little Caesars Pizza or someplace, and they reimburse you for your food plus pay you, anywhere from $5 to $10 or more sometimes, just to do a review on what you ate. So not only did you eat for free, you got paid a little bit. And if you're in a low cost area or your expenses are real low, groceries and food is sometimes one of the biggest expenses if you've got everything paid off. So if you're able to basically eat for free and then pick up a few extra bucks, if you're in this situation, that's actually a pretty darn good deal there. Pretty good gig. DoorDash, things like that, Instacart. I've done DoorDash, and it's been pretty good. I just don't want to be out there all the time because it feels like you have a job. But if you wanted to do this as a side hustle and just get enough to cover your gas expense, it's actually a pretty cool deal. Like right now, they'll give you, if you have the DoorDash direct payment card, immediately after you make a delivery, they put the money on your card, and then you can get 10% cash back on your gas as one of their incentives, where the gas prices are going up so much to keep drivers in the game. And then when you couple that card, the 10%, with an app like Get Upside that I've talked about in some previous videos, I mean, that starts to add up pretty quick. 10% back plus another maybe 10 to 25 cents per gallon. You're really starting to make a dent to your expenses. The other thing is like eBay and Amazon. eBay is one of my favorites, and it's actually a fun thing for me. It don't even feel like work. Just going out and finding things to resell becomes addicting. Especially like several instances where one instance I can remember, I found an old Sefer, as a Jewish Bible, at a garage sale for 50 cents, and it turned around and sold it. It sold for $280. And when you do that, I mean, that's one heck of a profit. And I was thinking about it the other day, people, I've watched videos of people talking about sky high inflation, and inflation's, some people say 10%, 15%, as high as 30%. And even if it is the extreme, if it's 30%, which I have noticed, I mean, every week when I go to the grocery store, the prices have gone up. But when you sit there and think about the percentage gain on a sale like that, 30% is nothing. Because you're making thousands of percent above what you pay for an item and sold it. I remember another one item right off the top of my head. I remember going to a garage sale, and I found a unopened VHS movie of Bloodsport with Jean-Claude Van Damme. Paid $0.25 for it, and it turns out that a lot of people are buying these old unopened VHSs, and they're having them graded just like baseball cards were, and selling them for high prices. Well, that one VHS I paid $0.25 for sold for over $120. It's just crazy, So you start seeing things like that and start making money in different ways. A lot of people mow yards and do things like that to get cash money quickly, where they can have money that day. Just so many ways. Some of the videos I've seen, they'll bore you with things like dividends and interest and things like that, which I do have, and pay for rental properties, and I have solar and things like that. But some things like that, it's kind of, for some people, may kind of feel like it takes a while to build up to it, and it does. But some of these other little things, I mean, you can get into them just like that. I mean, as long as you're in good health, you can go down there and get plasma. I mean, which I may do it sometime just to come back and report and do a video on it. Because I was sitting there thinking, I mean, $175 for an hour, and that's a lot of groceries, when you see things like that, it's like, wow, I don't know if I'll ever go back to work again. I mean, why, unless you just absolutely love it? Direct sales, I just mentioned earlier about my wife, she earned an incentive trip through direct sales. I mean, that was a very low cost vacation. Plus, a lot of people, you say direct sales, some people make think multi-level marketing, and all of a sudden all these negative thoughts enter your head, and it's not like that at all. I mean, in a direct sales company, you can pass up the person above you. So that's not multi-level. If it's not a pyramid scheme, I guess is the better word for it. You can pass up the person that got you in it. But that's another source of income. It takes a while to build. In the beginning, you may only make $100, $200 a month, but as time goes on, and you learn and you get better, pretty soon you're up to $1,000 a month, a couple grand a month, I mean, then, makes a tremendous difference, especially if you're debt-free. Becoming debt-free is the key. I mean, in my opinion. Now, I know a lot of people will say, well, they don't care, that's not a big deal. But to me, it is. I mean, I just think if you get your expenses real low, it doesn't take as much to jump over that hurdle. And some of these little things that people dismiss, those little things will get you over a little hurdle. They may not get you over a big hurdle. If you got a $2,000 mortgage or more, it might be harder to get over that hurdle. But if you have no mortgage, have no car payments, if you have solar and hardly have any power bill, you have just water bill, and your other expenses. I mean, it's just so much easier to get over that hurdle. You know, just do it. I mean, don't be afraid. More people I think are afraid of what they could lose instead of thinking about what they could gain. And I just don't get it. I don't know if it's just the environment right now where prices are going up so much. People are just really scared and shaky, but they shouldn't be. They need to have faith in God. And, I think there's going to be a very special reward for those who say that God is their source. I just want to get this out. For people who say that God is their source and not a job, and they step out on their own and have the faith to believe what the Word says about sowing and reaping and the ways that you should do business. I think there is a very special blessing for those who are not afraid to do that and put their faith in God and in His words and in His lessons about prosperity and finance. I just think that going forward, I know there's been a great relief in some of the health things that's been going on, and we have this idea of things that are kind of starting to go back to normal, which appears that way, but I wouldn't, what's the word I'm looking for without being too negative, because I'm a positive person, but there could be another storm coming. I wouldn't get too complacent. These employers have shown their hand about what kind of employer they are, if they fire you for not doing this or not doing that. If your employer was one of those, you've got a little time now to make an adjustment and get out of that situation. Either go off on your own and be self-employed or find a Christian employer. Even if it's Chick-fil-A, I'm just making one up, but I know they're a Christian company. They're off every Sunday, Christian values. They've done things in the past that they've taken some heat over because of their Christian values, but you know what I'm trying to say. If you want to work for somebody, try to line yourself up with a Christian employer, because they're less likely to infringe on your family values. And if you really want the freedom, it's better just, like I said, just become self-employed and create as much income as you can through investments and alternatives. Once you get 7 or 8 different forms of income coming in, it's real simple. It becomes so easy. If one dries up, you have others to pull from. Anyway, I've kind of rattled on a little bit more than what I usually do, but just wanted to jump on here since I've been gone, and they haven't forgotten you guys. I will have some more videos coming out later, here in the next week sometime. We'll get back on track to talk about things that you can either do to earn, make money or reduce your expenses. We'll get back on track with that theme. But I just wanted to say I missed you guys, and I'm glad to be back. And we'll talk to y'all soon. Now listen, I want to say one more thing. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. Hit the bell icon, so you'll be informed of any new videos. Hit the like button. This channel is new. I've only been going at this for maybe not even 2 months or so, and it just helped me get a little boost and get my name out there. Share this with your friends, relatives, co-workers. anybody that you think that might have an interest in personal finance and things like that. And I will talk to you guys soon. You guys have a blessed day. Bye-bye.